Imagine being just 8 years old and already feeling like the parent in your own home. You're the one who makes sure your little brother eats, the one who calms your mother when she cries, the one who translates the chaos of the adult world into something manageable for a family that depends on you. At school, you're just a kid among kids, but inside you feel decades older. This is the hidden world of children who grow up too fast, a world most people never see, but one that leaves invisible fingerprints on the rest of their lives. Why do some children step into adult shoes long before their time? And what does it do to their hearts, their minds, their future selves? That's what we're uncovering today. The psychology of a child who had to grow up too fast. Growing up too fast isn't just about missing birthday parties or skipping cartoons. It's about carrying responsibilities too heavy for small shoulders. Psychologists call it parentification, a term that sounds clinical, but behind it lies an ocean of stories filled with pain, resilience, and sometimes even brilliance born out of struggle. When a child becomes the caretaker, something fundamental shifts. Childhood, which should be a time of safety and exploration, turns into survival. It might be a parent struggling with addiction, poverty pressing down on a family, divorce tearing stability apart, or illness forcing kids to become nurses instead of sons and daughters. Whatever the reason, the result is the same. The child trades innocence for responsibility. But here's the twist. While society often admires these children for their maturity, their responsibility, their strength, inside, something is breaking. They wear adult armor, but beneath it is a heart that still longs to be a child. Think about it. How many times have we praised a child for being so mature for their age? Maybe you've even said it yourself. But what if that maturity isn't a gift, but a wound? What if behind that poised smile is a kid silently asking, when do I get to be taken care of? Children who grow up too fast often learn to read emotions like survival maps. They can sense the smallest changes in tone, the slightest shifts in atmosphere. If mom seems upset, they step in. If dad is drunk, they manage. If siblings are scared, they soothe. This hyper-awareness becomes second nature, but it comes at a cost. The child never truly learns where they end and others begin. Now let's talk psychology. When kids are forced into adult roles, their brains adapt. Neurologically, stress hormones like cortisol become constant companions. Instead of bursts of stress here and there, it's a steady drip that wires the brain toward hypervigilance. This is why so many adults who grew up too fast describe feeling always on edge, even when life is calm. Their nervous systems were trained to expect storms. Emotionally, they often struggle with boundaries. They learned early that their worth was tied to how much they could help, soothe, or fix. So as adults, they may become people pleasers, overachievers, or caregivers who neglect themselves. On the surface, they seem capable. Underneath, they're exhausted. But here's the paradox. Those same survival skills can also lead to extraordinary strengths. Many children who grow up too fast develop resilience, empathy, and problem-solving skills that outshine their peers. They learn to navigate complexity, to read people, to adapt quickly. In some cases, these skills fuel success in careers, relationships, even leadership. So, is it a curse or a hidden gift? That's where it gets complicated. Let's pause and ask something that may be uncomfortable. Do these children ever really grow up, or do they remain stuck in that role forever? Consider this. A little girl grows up taking care of her depressed mother. She becomes fiercely independent, excelling in school, admired by teachers for her maturity. Fast forward 20 years. She's a successful lawyer, sharp and reliable. But at night, when the world is quiet, she feels a hollowness she can't explain. Deep down, she's still waiting for someone to say, "Don't worry, I've got you." Or a boy who grew up protecting his siblings from an abusive father. As an adult, he's magnetic, charismatic, protective, a natural leader. But he also carries anger simmering under the surface. Anger from never having had the chance to just be. These stories aren't rare. They echo in countless lives. And maybe, just maybe, they echo in yours. The psychology of a child who grew up too fast is often wrapped around two key themes: loss and adaptation. The loss of a carefree childhood, the adaptation into roles meant for adults. But here's the remarkable part. Adaptation can look like strength. And because it looks like strength, society often misses the hidden suffering. Have you ever wondered why some of the strongest people you know seem haunted by invisible weight? Why that friend who always takes care of everyone else struggles to accept help themselves. That's the long shadow of a childhood that ended too soon. But let's go deeper. Psychologists often describe two paths for children who grow up too fast. The first is functional maturity. These children take on responsibility, succeed outwardly, and even thrive professionally. But emotionally, they carry wounds that show up in intimacy, self-worth, and vulnerability. The second path is destructive maturity. In this case, the pressure of early responsibility breaks them down instead of lifting them up. They may struggle with addiction, self-doubt, or relationships that mirror the dysfunction they grew up in. Neither path is destiny, though. And that's the most important thing. Childhood may shape us, but it doesn't have to define us forever. Here's something worth holding on to. Healing is possible. The psychology of the child who grew up too fast is not just a story of damage, it can also be a story of repair. Therapy, supportive relationships, and self-reflection can help untangle the knots of the past. It's not about erasing what happened. It's about reclaiming the childhood pieces that were lost. And maybe this is the lesson for all of us. When we see a child acting too mature, maybe instead of praising them for their strength, we should ask if they're okay. Maybe the most powerful gift we can give is the permission to simply be a child. But let's not end on sorrow. Because there's another truth here. Children who grow up too fast often become adults with an unmatched depth of empathy. They know what it's like to carry weight. They know what it's like to suffer in silence. And because of that, they often become the kind of people who change lives. The nurses who go the extra mile. The friends who notice when you're not okay. The leaders who fight for fairness. Yes, their childhood was stolen. But sometimes from that theft, they build something remarkable. So maybe the real question isn't what's wrong with them. Maybe it's what wisdom do they carry through fire? And if you're watching this thinking, that was me, then here's what you need to know. It's not too late to reclaim the parts of yourself that you left behind. You are not just the caretaker, the fixer, the strong one. You are still the child who deserved love, safety, and play. And giving yourself permission to reconnect with that part isn't weakness. It's healing. Because in the end, the psychology of a child who grew up too fast is really the psychology of survival. And survival, while it may come at a cost, is also a testament to the strength of the human spirit. So the next time you meet someone who seems wise beyond their years, ask yourself, is this wisdom born from joy or from necessity? That answer may change everything. And now let me ask you, did you grow up too fast? Do you recognize yourself in this story? Share your thoughts in the comments below, because sometimes telling your story is the first step to healing.